Hello and welcome to my glorious visage. Yes, in case you haven't guessed, we're doing a makeup video today. I saw a lot of you guys asking down below, what have I been doing new with my makeup? Well, I'm about to tell you. It's nothing really exciting or new, it's just I'm wearing less makeup. But we're gonna go through that step and we're also gonna talk a little bit, you know, the makeup process is kind of old hat at this point. So if there's something new, I'll let you know. But in the meantime, we're just gonna have some fun and try and like have a good conversation, you know, hang out with each other. That's what I like, you know? Either way, I'm gonna block out these eyebrows quick. You already know how I do that. I got a whole video about it. I'll link it down below. Be right back. All right, we are back. The brows are glued down. They're not fully dried just yet, but we have other stuff to do before then. All right, I'm gonna take some primer from Huda Beauty. Thank you for all the free products, Huda. You're gonna be seeing them a lot in this video. They sent me a lot of stuff that I've been using, and I've actually been really liking a lot of it. And right now we're using primer, which I didn't use before, but after I started moisturizing, because I'm getting older, unfortunately, it's actually been helping a lot. I actually haven't seen differences in my makeup after using it. Before I was full on like not team primer. I'm just like, this does not work. I'm pulling my leg. Just want me to spread nothing cream on my face and hope that my makeup looks better. And now that I'm getting older, I definitely see why people use primer. Okay, that's all in. Let's start doing our foundation. I'm gonna be using Shortcake from Huda Beauty. This one, Shortcake. Put that on the Booty Blender and just build it up to a full coverage. Cause I like the Dermablend stuff, but I was running out of it and I try not to go to the beauty supply store, to a makeup store as often as I can. Like, I don't like to be out in public a whole lot. And especially at a mall or something where I have to buy makeup, I don't really want to be stuck there. Cause here in Wisconsin, people aren't necessarily the most considerate when it comes to following guidelines, so I try not to go out to malls or anything as much as possible. So I got this from Huda a while back and I never really tried it, and I actually tried it and I'm loving it. It's, I guess you call it like a liquid foundation, but it builds up, which I like. And I don't think I've ever used anything like this since I was like working at Sephora. Like, oh my god, I used to use like the Urban Decay one, like just at work because you had access to all that stuff. And thinking back on it, it's like no wonder I had styes all the time because I was using like the makeup from the testers to do my makeup every day. Ugh. Oh, back in the day when that was something we didn't think about. Who else did that? Like, I fully would do that where I would just like be at work at Sephora, fully just doing my makeup with everything in the store and not actually buying my own makeup. I was like, what? Why bother buying it? I could just do it there. Not knowing that, like, well, I should have known this because I worked there, but I didn't really think much about it. How like long that makeup had been sitting out there and how a lot of it was probably long expired from like being exposed to the air because it was never covered. So yeah, that's my reality. All right, they're feeling a little dry now. Let's give it the ultimate test. And if you see the video suddenly stop and go, shh, that means my eyebrows weren't ready. I had to redo everything. Okay, we're good. We are in smooth sailing so far. All right, good. That's what I like to see. All right, I am back. I set my face and I'm gonna use a little bit of eye primer from Gerard Cosmetics. This one is called, it appears that the label has faded. I'll put it right here because I'll remember from like my old transactions. It's their canvas, something canvas. I think there's only 2 shades, so the light one. All right, so I'm gonna do this. And I didn't usually do this before because I was just like, what's the point? And this is just me being a bad makeup artist where certain steps I would just skip because I'm lazy. And then you realize when you actually take those steps, your makeup looks better and people notice it, which is what's been happening lately. I just stopped being lazy. And also, I have to do my sister's makeup for a wedding, so I've been trying to like get better at it because that's the ultimate pressure is when you have to do makeup for like a big event like that and you want the bride to be happy and they're under the impression you have this skill set that, you know, works for you but not necessarily for anywhere else. And I'm so far removed from doing makeup for, you know, clients, which bear in mind, I never was doing makeup for clients. Like, I had to do makeovers in Sephora. I was basically just there until they found out that I wasn't actually good at makeup and I'm just very good at interviewing. Fully scammed my way into that job because I just wanted a job where I could be very, very gay and try out lipstick if I felt like it. And get free makeup if I had to. You know, that's always a perk too. As a drag queen, we appreciate that. And hats off to anyone that actually can do professional wedding makeup, because I worked in a salon, girl, and bridal parties are a nightmare. My goodness. I used to hate those days. Like Saturdays and Sundays, there'd be bridal showers in there, getting their makeups done for weddings. And girl, the amount of stress that goes into that, and everyone is just like head on fire. No, ma'am. All right. So I've been really like into supermodel makeup lately, like 90s supermodels. And I was like going through and Googling all the names of like famous artists that had been like doing the faces of like Naomi Campbell and Cindy Crawford. Cause that's like where I grew up, like the whole era of like the supermodel, where they all had like those super snatched faces with the big creases and a little bit of eyeliner. And it's always like in black and white and moody and everyone's just like, yeah, very that. And one of my favorites is probably Kevin Aquan, who was a famous makeup artist who sadly is no longer with us. But he did lots of celebrity makeup. Lots of stuff for Naomi Campbell. The famous, like, you know, cut crease is Kevin Aquan. And I was going through like that book Making Faces where he does like all this like techniques of what he did. And just trying to brush up on my makeup skills because I want to get better at it before I actually have to do wedding makeup. And like just the techniques that they were using are like so ingrained in like drag makeup. Like you look at like a lot of the early 90s drag queens, like RuPaul in particular, her makeup was very much inspired by like supermodels and like back and forth. All those queer people involved in the fashion industry having its influence and, you know, being projected onto our screens and onto the catwalk, you know, via these high fashion models. And that was one of those things like it kind of clicked to me finally, because I know on this channel, you guys know me, I was never really big on fashion and models in particular. But when I started doing research, it was like, it kind of clicked for me. It's like, okay, I could see why people were really like obsessed with people like, you know, Claudia Schiffer, like Cindy Crawford, Elle Macpherson, Naomi Campbell. I can kind of see it. You know, it's like there is an aura there, and there is like a power fantasy happening there. These gigantic, tall, beautiful, statuesque women in an industry where, you know, they were actually being, you know, solid contenders. Like researching the stuff that Naomi Campbell was capable of maintaining as a supermodel, and Janice Dickinson especially, like she changed contracts for supermodels. Like her jumping back and forth to different brands and different companies basically helped shape the way contracts for models were made, where they could ask for these gigantic offers, and every time like the offer went up and up and up. And she was the one that kind of pioneered that, you know? She was the commodity. They needed her to sell that catwalk. All right, let's begin. Eyes. I'm gonna go through with my Anastasia, this nice little contour palette that Trixie gave me after she saw my Family Dollar contour kit from LA Girl. I appreciate it. Going with a light bronzer and kind of sketch out my crease, because that's also kind of the big deal with supermodel makeup, is the placement of the crease and just reshaping the eye. And what I've been doing differently for myself is I've just been tracing along like where my eyebrow bone naturally rests. Because normally I was going really high up and like doing like a, you know, Gloria Swanson-y kind of thing. Where either my creases would always be a mixture of way too high or way too low. And by the time I put my eyelashes on, you couldn't see any of the work I actually did. Right, beauty blender. Buff it out. In between brushings, I've been trying to like buff it out to make it softer. Because I notice my creases always get really hard. And I'm trying to soften up my makeup as much as possible. Now we're going to go on to a color. In the 90s, they did more of like mauve-y and like oranges. I don't really have a mauve, but I have like an orange. I'm going to use this one here. This one is Redlands from the Kimchi palette with Naomi Smalls. Look at that. And actually go and tap the excess of my brush so it's not all just going on caked. I always want a small bit of color that I'm going to cover up with more browns and then cut the crease. Like I said, they weren't really big on like big draggy colors. Okay, now it's time to go in with a brown. I'm going in with Mad Maxine. I'm going to start with the most here and go up. Work my way up, and then when it's a little bit of on the brush as possible, that's when I'll go around here. Because I don't want a hard line there. But like that's really my obsession lately, is like with my makeup as far as like changing it up goes. It's just 90s supermodels. Trying to channel that kind of energy. I think it's fun, you know, it's something different for me. I'm usually doing like, you know, 1950s, you know, bombshell kind of makeup, or like starlets. It's fun to like switch it up and try something different. Who are you guys' favorite supermodels? I want to know. Let me know down below. I'm always interested in looking up somebody new. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of bronzer just to warm me up a bit. Just because I have that cheek there and it's bothering me. I have to blend it. It's really hard on this side, so I gotta blend that out when I'm done. Now, I have the eyes almost like where I want them before I start cutting the crease. Let's just do a little bit more brown in the dark there. All right, now it's time to cut the crease. I'm gonna go in back with the Gerard Cosmetics canvas. If you like to save 30% on Gerard Cosmetics, you can actually use code JAYMES and get 30% off on non-sale items, okay? Yes, influencer. But I've just been having a lot of fun with my makeup lately. Like, I've been doing it the same for so long that after a while it gets boring. I wanna switch it up a bit. I feel like I do that every couple years. I find a different look. It's healthy to do so. And also, I have been watching a lot of different makeup tutorials. Like, I recently watched that one Pearl did where she switched up her makeup. And I was sitting there and I was, you know, thinking to myself, like, okay. And then I actually gave some of the tips a try and they actually kind of worked out. Like, what I'm about to do with my eyeliner, I took that advice and I actually ended up really liking the way it looked. But we're not there yet. Well, I'll get back to it. Also, you don't believe the difference it makes when you just take your time with your makeup and don't just throw it on. All right, the crease is cut. I'm gonna cut the other one off camera and I'll be right back. All right, I'm just setting a little bit of my eye with this color from my Anastasia palette, just the light color, just to set that down so it's not all, you know, wet. Eyeliner. Now, I'm gonna use this little teeny tiny guy and go through with the black from that Naomi Smalls Kimchi palette. And I'm going to start here and wing it a little bit and then just go along the natural line of my eye and slowly expand it. That's like the one benefit of false eyelashes is like if your eyeliner game is not the thing you're most confident in, usually that'll cover it up. Now, I saw Pearl in one of her latest videos talk about how she changed up her eyeliner method and just started doing it exactly where her eyeliner line is instead of doing like an insane amount, which I'm guilty of doing. An insane amount of eyeliner that covers up your entire lid and all of your work. And I started doing it just like a natural position on my face and I actually been liking the way it's been looking. And one of those things where I was like, that's not gonna look good on me, and I actually did it and ended up liking it. And also like just looking at other makeup styles from other people that I do like I looked at a lot of La Vendeno's makeup looks and they're very simple but really, really effective. If you're ever interested in it, just like look at people's faces who are similar to yours in shape and see what they do. And if you like what they do, try and emulate it and see how it works for you. That's what I've been doing at least. All right, forgot to do my nose. Whoa, that got on darker than I thought it would. This is what I get for cleaning my brushes. Well, we're gonna have to buff that out. Wow, that was way too dark. So let's buff it out. There's a little bit of foundation left on my beauty blender, so that's gonna help soften it. All right. Now, I'm gonna use my eyeliner, Wet and Wild. Does this have the y'all who buy this eyeliner? I have to find a different one. I think I might try Inglot. Every time I try and pull it pulls out the whole cover of it, like the casing comes off. If it's not one thing, it's the other. The other thing is the spring will break and it just like shoots off and it dries out on you without you even knowing. But I do love this eyeliner, so if anyone has a different recommendation, give it to me. For a felt tip liner, Mama could use it. Okay, eyebrows. This one has been a game changer for me. I realized that if you put them a little higher, it actually looks better. Who knew? Same Mad Max scene from the Kimchi Beauty palette. Normally I start with the eyebrows. I don't know why I got so bold and daring in this video and just went out of order, but here we are. What I've been doing is I've just been making them thinner, which isn't very 90s. Like usually the eyebrows on the supermodels are very, very thick. Like you think of like Cindy Crawford, she's like known for those really dense brows, or Janice Dickinson, they have very thick brows. But this part I took more inspiration from like fitness models in the 90s. You know, like your Trish Stratus's, your Tori Wilson's when they would do like muscle mag. I always thought they were so gorgeous. Like these big muscular ladies, this platinum blonde hair that was so stringy from being on like the beach and in the sun all day. And like that super 90s makeup with like the full lip liner and basically supermodel makeup but applied to fitness models. obsessed. And those of you probably know Trish Stratus more from wrestling, which of course you do, because that's really where she excelled. But before that, she was like the Arnold Schwarzenegger of women's fitness. Like, she was everywhere in the 90s. You couldn't escape her if you were a fitness nut. She was on all those magazine covers. All right, I'm going with the color Mixed, and with a brush, I'm gonna go into this little area here and just kind of buff that in to get rid of that negative space that's happening between the crease and the eyeliner. Also add a bit more of a soft shadow. And then once I add a little bit of shimmer on the lid, we're pretty much done with the eye. That's all I've really been doing, because I've been like just kind of living for a nude moment. And bear in mind, this makeup probably only really works for me on like camera where I'm in like close proximity. I'm just looking for a look I can do right away for like makeup videos that looks nice. If I were to go on like an HD camera, like a television kind of situation, it'd be a lot harder than this. This would get washed out. But for YouTube, it works very good. Now, I was trying to think of like other models like that I had known of. But, like, I was kind of obsessed with like 1950s, and like the only model I can think of from them was like Susie Parker, which, oh my God, there's a story there. Okay, so I only know her from like one movie she did with Cary Grant and Jaymes Mansfield called Kiss Them For Me, that the Susie and the Banshee song was named after. But yeah, she was a model in the 1950s, Susie Parker. And what was so interesting about her to me was that when she was in that movie, like, she's basically the love interest for Cary Grant. Like, she's the, you know, refined, you know, ladylike lady, as opposed to like Jaymes Mansfield, who's like a wild party girl. Anyways, Susie Parker was a Southern lady, very, very, very Southern. And when she did that movie, she did all the lines, she acted everything, she read everything the way it was in her own voice. But when she went to go see it, last minute, they had dubbed her voice over with a completely different actress. So she didn't know about that until she got to the theater and saw a voice of another woman coming out of her mouth. Like, can you imagine? Like, that would suck. Like, you did all that work just for them to like think you weren't good enough and redo your whole voice. I'd be mortified. Like, I don't think she did many films after that. Like, after that, I wouldn't do that again. Like, that kind of experience, screw that. All right, using the kimchi pellets, just use my finger. Trying my best not to get it on the crease. Just on the space of the eyelid, and not on the eyeliner either. I got a little bit there, but that's fine, I'll just cover it up. Okay, just fix whatever I covered with my eyeliner. And like that, the top of the eye is done. Now for the bottom of the eye, I've been doing something really, really simple. I take a bigger version of my eyeliner brush, this one, smaller version of my eyeliner brush. And I take a brown chocolate, to be exact. And what I noticed in the 90s is like they don't really do a lot of black under the eye, it's more brown. So that's what I've been doing. I'm kind of flicking it a bit at the end to mimic, you know, the shadow of an eyelash. Very Marilyn Monroe, like Whitey used to do that when he did her makeup. Flick it at the end to give the illusion of an eyelash. Whitey Snyder, who did Marilyn Monroe's makeup, that was one of his famed techniques. And in a 1950s black and white film or Technicolor, it looked radiant. You know, from afar, it really worked. All right, now with a brown eyeliner pencil, or not pencil, a brown eyeliner from Wet and Wild. She's a good one. Okay, I'm gonna do the hairs on my eyebrows. You see me do before. I do this a little differently now, where I don't just do like, you know, the grill lines. I've been trying to like do more sparse hairs to make it look a little more natural. And sometimes they're better than others. And if the hair just come off really, really dark, I go over with the eyeshadow and faintly just cover it to make it softer. That's really it, just trying to do small slices to create illusion of hair. Okay, like I said, a little bit of that eyeshadow that's left on it, go over the dark patches to soften them up. And we're almost done, my God. Y'all know, see me do this already, it's just highlight. Nothing's changed here. Alrighty, now we're just doing some finishing stuff before we start doing lips, and we're basically done. Alright, I'm gonna go underneath here and shape up my brow. Get it nice and sharpened. I'm really into angular brows lately, if you haven't noticed. Like I said before, like the sperm cell fitness model eyebrow is really my jam lately. Let's blend that out. Don't want no harshness. I don't know about y'all, but I have that song React by the Pussycat Dolls in my head right now. I went down that Pussycat Dolls rabbit hole recently. And the whole time sitting there watching these old videos, I couldn't help but think like, why were we all betting on Nicole again? When there's melody right there. Like, why did they sleep on Melody that whole time? The girl could sing, like her solo stuff. Oh my god, have you seen her solo stuff? Oh, I Will Wait, and like the videos she's doing with the like 1970s aesthetics and 1960s. Breathtaking, oh my god. If you haven't checked it out, check out Melody Thornton's stuff. Like, she's so beautiful, and her music is so nice. Her voice, I can't. Gotta do her nose, same thing again, cream. Nothing really spectacular here. I've just been doing like the Marilyn Monroe effect where you do like the little button a little higher and do a little bit on the bridge. I really wish I had like thought up a different makeup look for some projects I have coming out in the near future. Because I'm gonna look completely different in comparison. I really wish I had taken a little more risks and experimentations when I was doing those, but you know what? You live and you learn. Que sera, sera, I suppose. As that Doris Day used to say. Alright, lips. Now, this is actually a technique I learned from watching a Maybelline Supermodel video. Like, it's supposed to be like Halloween makeup for like girls if they want to do like a supermodel look, but I took it and actually applied it to some of my drag stuff and it actually worked. So if you can, check it out, that Maybelline Supermodel makeup, 90s Supermodel. And this is something that I should have known how to do from doing drag, I just didn't. You just do this. Basically fill in the lips, line them up. And I'm filling them in. And basically I should have known to do this. Like, it's one of those Kevin Aquan, Billy B techniques from the 90s that every drag queen does now, or just about everyone does, because it's just so ingrained in our culture. Where you fill in the lips, like that. And you do concealer on them, tiny bit. And basically you're ombreing the lips, so that when I put the color over it, it appears lighter and has a little more dimension. It's like drag makeup, supermodel makeup, chola makeup, this is very big with. Just very, very 90s. And it's such a stark look. Now if this was the 60s, this would be done. Like white lipstick, oh my god. No, I'm gonna go in with my Gerard Cosmetics, this is Rodeo Drive. Nude lipstick. And by doing that, you get that 90s lined lip liner look, which I'm obsessed with. And I never knew how to do it before, but that's how you do it. Maybelline, who knew, you know? Okay, now just gonna do my eyelashes off camera. Oh no, highlighter. I should do what I'm doing with highlighter. Okay, first things first, set the makeup. All right, let that dry a little bit. All right, different highlighter brush than usual. I usually use that Fam one. I started using this one now. And I go in with a highlighter that I feel like that day. So I'm just gonna use, you know, the Naomi Small side of the palette. And do this on my face. And do my little apples on my cheeks. And then with the residue, I slide it up and do that. But most of it remains here. And this is just the Marilyn Monroe effect, where she always had, like, you know, light collecting here to make her face look more full. And I don't know if it does my face any favors, but I just like in the way it's been looking lately. And then on the nose a little bit, tip the nose. Then I just do my nostrils with a brown, and we're done. Blend her. Blending is very, very important. And like that, that's the mug. That's what I've been doing lately. I'm going to do my eyelashes off camera. I'll be right back and I'll show you the final result. Welcome back. This is my final. Look, ooh, telenovela realness. The goal whenever I do makeup is always to look like a villain in a telenovela, and I feel like I achieved that today. Now this makeup look is fabulous, but it is just missing one more thing. The Jaymes Mansfield Magical Wig Spray from Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab. Let's just give this wig a spritz. Ah, now my hair smells just like cream soda. Available at blackphoenixalchemylab.com. And grooming can be an absolute drag, but thankfully I have Manscaped. Use my code JAYMES20 for 20% off plus free shipping. It's for your no-no bits. Now, thank you all so much for coming down this little journey of makeup with me. I had a lot of fun showing you what I've been doing recently with my makeup and catching up with you about stuff from the past, like supermodels and fitness models and models, fashion, mirror ball, spinning around. 10 gay points and they wouldn't know that reference. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye. I have a chest pimple. Try not to notice that. There's a chest pimple. Bye. Hit the outro.
Click here and watch you transform a Balami X Tokyo Styles wig. Or see transform wigs by Vanna E. Hall Front. Come on, click it, you know you want to. If you don't click it, I'll tell everyone you drool in your sleep, so click it.